off. He's seeing the big bomb, though, the seed. And our runners are off. We're seeing hydrapower starting at the sanctuary, as is PKR.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see play to... Oh, are we getting a Houlihan room here?
Interesting.
I think so, yeah. And it looks like PKR is making her way to Kakariko.
I'm surprised we're seeing the Houlihan strat here.
I'm also very surprised. Like this takes a significant amount of time to do.
Yeah. So looking at the spoiler log, there's some nice information, including what the poultries are. And tier 1 poultries are 20 rupees. The PKR is just gonna go and get these free bombs here, instead of going and grind the rupees.
Yeah, so looks like now she's gonna head up to Blind's hut in the well, and let's see where Hydrapower goes. So he gets the free start back at Link's house, and it looks like he's heading towards the eastern area.
That's actually the Lakeside Shop route, I think, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you're right, you're right.
So, I was predicting that someone would go buy bombs here at the Lakeside Shop when we were researching this log. I thought they would use the poultry, though, not Houlihan. But, there they go, 10 bombs.
Yeah, it's really interesting seeing this type of divergence really early in the seed. So you see PKR going to the village, while Hydrapower here going completely different route, heading towards the eastern area.
Yeah. Of course, we know Blind's hat is loaded here. Hydrapower is moving with purpose, though. This is where the gloves are, and we're going to be needing those gloves.
Absolutely. You see PKR picking up a lamp. That's always nice to see in a spoiler log seed. If anybody in chat has played the qualifiers, we had all 3 qualifiers being lampless, and it made it very difficult. So lamp is one of the best safeties you can have in kind of a low % situation like a spoiler log seed.
Yeah. Also picking up the Kate of Samari and the Moon Pearl as well. So we're just gonna outright say this. They're not gonna be going to do Skull with an Ice Palace for a little while. And they're not gonna be checking it for you, so I'll just let you guys know that this isn't Agaseed.
You're spoiling the spoiler.
Well, that's the nature of these seeds, isn't it?
True.
But yeah, folks, this is an Aghanim seed, and it's, from what we understand from looking at the log, it is purely for Lumberjack, because that's where our Fire Rod is.
Let's see. So one of the one kind of redeeming good thing about Egg Seeds is that it's going to give you lamp, which you saw at the very early lamp being in Blind's hut. So there's a good and bad when it comes to Egg Seeds.
Yeah. And this good thing about this one is this Egg Seed in particular will require the boot, so they're going to be getting that.
Absolutely.
So what exactly who Pet is? Pet is the other magical rod. We're not picking that up at all. And no, I'm not talking about the Ice Rod, that's in Chicken Hut. We're talking about Cane and Burno.
Yeah, and this is an interesting matchup we have here because PKR, I believe, is the 6th seed in this tournament, and she's playing Hydrapower, who I guess that would make him the 27th seed. And yeah. PKR, as I'm sure most people know, is a very, very good runner. And I believe that this mode, with only 15 minutes to parse the spoiler log, probably acts more in her favor than the format of the qualifier. So her seed is probably lower than maybe it should be. And so if you're Hydrapower, you got to kind of wonder what his strategy is going to be. Is he going to really go for it, ditch all the safeties, and try to beat her? Or is he just going to play his game? It's only game 1, and I'm really looking forward to see how he approaches this.
Well, I expect some safeties to pick up because you don't want to play it too risky.
Yeah, but at the same time, you also want to give yourself as much of a chance to win as possible.
That is also true. So yeah, for those who might have seen no major glitches runs. This is kind of essentially that, except the items are still shuffled. Our runners just know how the route of the seed.
Yeah, it definitely rewards execution far more than a regular randomizer race.
Alright, so the old man here does have something for us. It's actually a bottle with a fairy in it, so that's what I meant. They are guaranteed a safety.
Yeah, that is always nice to see. Getting a forced bottle with a fairy, so there's always something good to be in your back pocket. And you already have the mirror, so you don't have to worry about death warps.
Yeah, and PKR is going to be heading up to, I believe, Hera here. I'm surprised she hasn't gone... Oh, she wants the hammer, that's why. Yeah, the hammer's up here, by the way.
Yeah, not only does the hammer give you Dark World access, but it's also a weapon that you can use to kill Moldorm if she so chooses to.
Well, she has to go Moldorm the seed.
I know, but whether or not she does it right now is...
I mean, you're getting the hammer and it's right here. You might as well...
This is true. Oh, I absolutely think she's going to do it, yeah.
Where are the boots? You'll find out. They are required after all.
So, very nice. We see a non-fire-locked big key. That's always good to see. And going through Hera with the hammer can be a little slow at times, but at least you have it for the Beal room up here, which makes that go a little bit easier.
There's that bottle with a fairy for hydrapower. And there's a couple goodies here in Tower Hera here. We'll see if PKR picks up one of them. I think they kind of have to.
Yes, I believe that both Tower of Hera items are required for the seed. So you see PKR walking right past these two chests.
Yeah, but
looks like she's opting for the drop down over the bomb jump.
Yeah,
without the sword or boots, this bomb jump is very difficult to do. So I don't blame her for doing that at all.
Yeah, and there's another one of our safety folks, the magic cape. I believe there is something on Lumberjack, or not Lumberjack, Bumper Cape we need. So we'll be seeing that being used. And
so now you see Hydrapower following suit here, making his way into Hera.
And now it's time for Moldorm. Hiding on the left is not a good spot.
Yeah, and Moldorm with just the hammer can be kind of tricky because you can't use the sword to keep him off you if he really gets you into a corner.
So there you go. And there we go, Moldorm down. That'll be the first crystal of the match. Already 8 minutes in.
That was a very nice fight.
And of course, also this. There's our Bombos medallion for you.
Yeah, as you can see from the tracker, Bombos is required for both of the medallion locked dungeons in this seed. So that's nice to get that out of the way right now.
And speaking of trackers, shout out to Samus who is keeping those items up to date for you. We know where everything is, but you guys don't, so make sure you guys stay up to date with everything they found.
So now we see what looks like PKR making her way into the Dark World for the first time.
Makes sense to me.
Looks like we're gonna look at Hype Cave here. Now, spoiler, Hype Cave is pretty hype in this race.
Well, it's gonna be skewed because we're only gonna open up the important chest, but yeah.
Also, you see Hydrapower making his way in his Moldorm fight.
First up, there's these, the silvers, and a sword. Oh yeah, and also the flute. And some boss refill. What is in that last chest, actually, that PKR did not open? I'll go ahead and check this log.
And you still see her picking up bombs, and resource management in these spoiler log seeds can be kind of tricky at times. because it's not like a regular randomizer where you're just opening up every seed and you're getting a ton of those 10 arrow and 3 bomb drops. So sometimes you can find yourself lacking bombs. So knowing a few extra places where you can pick them up is always helpful.
Yeah. The hoarder crabs don't have anything here. Also, that last chest was 20 rupees, so she's already set up on money.
Let's see where Hydropower makes his way to. Looks like he is going to follow PKR in the Dark World as well.
PKR actually going to do the race game here.
Yep, there is a required item on the race game.
Is it required?
It is indeed. Oh, it is also a very nice thing to have. Again, this this particular seed is forcing you to pick up another great safety. In my opinion, in these spoiler log tournaments races, the powder's probably the best safety you can get.
Yeah.
It really helps in the end game dungeons.
So, how does spoiler log works? Basically, folks, for those who don't know, these runners, along with us here in the commentary booth, have given the 15 minutes to study the spoiler log. Unlike us, though, these runners had to plan their route and execute the seed.
Yeah, you see PKR getting our required item off of the magic bat, which will be our Titan's Mitts.
And yeah, if someone looks ahead, it's probably because their routing was a lot more efficient. Because that's essentially what the emphasis is on the spoiler log race, and basically the theme of this tournament is it's heavily focused on routing and execution. There's no luck involved in this one. It's entirely skill based.
Interesting. We see Hydropower here taking a visit to the mini Moldorm cave.
And ZPK are picking up half magic. And yeah, folks, these races won't be taking nearly as much time because they're only going to go for the items they need, so essentially it's going to be close to like an NMG time, except maybe even faster. Hey, Master Sword for Hydropower.
Yeah, there's also a nice safety here, another bottle of green potion, always nice to have.
Book was in the Lost Woods, I believe in the drop-down.
So you see PKR activating her flute here and then making her way into the Dark World.
Yeah, with those Titans in play.
So this is interesting. Another piece of route divergence here because now PKR is going to be in the Dark Village with just the fighter sword as opposed to Hydropower, who will have the Master Sword. And that sword difference, should they choose to fight Mothula, makes a big difference. Oh,
yeah, 4 hearts, taking a death. Those things do die with a one hit with the hammer. And it looks like Hydropower is opting for this line of play for safety. This is a relatively long play, but this book leading to Bombos here and the Master Sword gives you the shovel, and that will lead to another a safety. Also, there's our boost, by the way, for anyone who's wondering.
Yeah, PKR going straight for the boost as soon as she can.
Yeah, even a minor death like this, like that in this mode, takes up about 7 seconds, even with a fairy revival.
Yeah, and now he doesn't have that safety, so he's still on green mail and 4 hearts for now. And so he's got to be a little bit more careful than he was before.
Yeah, thankfully, I think Hydro will be picking up another safety here in a little bit. Because there's a reason he got the shovel.
So now PKR with boots in hand, going back into the light world, going to pull out the flute. Let's see where she goes.
And yeah, Hydropower making this long detour for the blue mail.
So now PKR making her way to Egana's cave. I'm a little surprised Hydropower didn't do this while he was in the neighborhood.
Probably was focused on getting the loot mail.
True. And so now we see Hydropower making his way into the Dark Village to do the same set of checks. He'll likely pick up his boots as well. And Egana is hiding away our bow in this seed.
Yeah. So Hydropower is doing the dig game here. What was that digging game anyway? Let me double check that. Oh. That's what's here.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, PKR did not do digging for a good reason. It's literally a huge amount of digs for just a boss heart. So again, another safety Hydropower is taking, but it's consuming quite a bit of time actually.
Yeah, in a short race like this, taking the time to pick up something like some of these heart containers can really make a big difference.
Yeah, we don't know just yet if that is a good thing or a bad thing for Hydropower picking up those heart containers. Because while it is making sure he has a better longevity overall, it is time he is losing to PKR, who is just making steady progress.
Yeah. PKR has a pretty good route going. She's got the boots. Her movement has been really good so far. So now she's on Dark Death Mountain. You see her going into Hookshot Cave.
For the mushroom.
Yep.
And something else here.
This is a very fetch questy seed. We're seeing at least 3 fetch quests so far.
Yeah, lots of overworld stuff here today, folks. Not much is actually in the dungeons. Actually, I don't think anything's in the dungeon except for Bombos and Hera.
Yep, that is true. The 2 items in Hera that were required are the only 2 that we really need. And technically, actually, yes, the cape is. The boots are required because it's Lumberjack, but that is it. Everything else is located in the overworld, which makes the routing that much more difficult.
And look at PKR's tracker here, and only 17 minutes in. She is putting on a clinic here, really. Hydropower releasing the bird. And PKR is going to take another safety here in the form of this green potion, as well as his tempered sword.
Yeah, and the kind of the one good mode on all the dungeons, so that allows you, as you can see, to get her 3rd sword and get some of the items you need, some of the higher tier weapons, so that you can make the dungeons go that much more quickly and easily.
Yeah, I think we lost you there for a little bit. But yeah, PKR picking up the tempered sword now. And yeah, PKR with that green potion is most likely saving it for like some cave shenanigans.
Oh, interesting. Seeing a trip to the waterfall ferry.
And bottle leads to half magic.
Right, now you're seeing a nice and fun 7-heart green male Ice Palace play.
I mean, has bombos, will be perfectly fine here. And has half magic too.
True. Cold Stare still hits hard.
Yeah, this is going to be fairly difficult, but this is actually right up PKR's alley, I think.
To answer the question in chat, it was a heart container she picked up from Waterfall.
Yeah, and PKR also still has that fairy to fall back on, so it's going to be pretty safe here in ice. Even has the magic cape if things go really south during the Cold Stare fight. And I think that's why she picked up the green potion as well. Just a little extra safety there to refill her magic in the case that she needs to. Or just dies to Cold Stare in general.
That's true. That half magic fire rod really does cut through.
Oh, we don't even have
Stare
fire
very
rod.
easily. That's true. I mean, yeah, right.
So she would only be using the magic for the cape at that point, as well as the initial Bombos cast.
You'll see the Ice Palace bomb jump here. Probably the most time-saving minor glitch.
Yeah, because it literally, that one little simple bomb jump trick saves you literal minutes here in Ice Palace.
Yeah, I still have no idea how to beat Ice Palace the way you're supposed to.
You have to get the key, go down the basin just before where the pressure switch is, flip the crystal switch, then do an entire loop back around so you can get back to the left side and then push the block so you can put the pressure blade on. Or you could be somewhat smart, go to Meyer, get the Cane of Samaria, and just pressure it this way. That way as well.
Ooh, Hydropower running some dead rocks. Got the double there.
Yeah. Thankfully, the ring boulders, as we like to call them, cabbages, are not...
Yeah, they're not giving too much trouble.
Alright. It's time for PKR's Cold Stare fight. Let's see how she handles it. Nice spin. Get him in the corner. Getting away from her, but they're on 1 hit each, so down they go.
Very nice.
Clean Cold Stare. Oh, that's right. Cold Stare had the 4 sword as well. I guess there was something in here.
True. The difference between tempered and butter is not hugely significant, but it's always nice to have.
Yeah, thank goodness we have that Mothula safety, that Mothula little bit of a bug fix as well. Because that gold sword would actually be a detriment to fighting the moth. It's this thing about it dealing the same amount of damage as a spike trap, and moth is programmed to be immune to spike traps. So it thinks the gold sword is a spike trap in terms of because of the same damage value. It's weird like that. So we've changed it so that gold sword does temper damage. And yeah, with those flips, PKR is in a no-mode state. She knows where the fire rod is because it is a spoiler log seed.
Yeah, so she is 1 item away.
And I think she's gonna pull the trigger on Aga. Yep.
Yep, she's just picking up all the items. So I was actually wondering when they would go to the potion shop. So I thought maybe they would delay it if they had to use that fairy in a bottle so they could take that time to grab a potion. But PKR doesn't need that. She's just going straight for it.
Yeah, people were making fun of me that we were in no mode, but yeah, you guys didn't know.
Yeah, we're always in no mode in spoiler log.
You're walking into the gate.
Oh.
Yeah, PKR is pretty much in a go mode right now because she knows that the fire rod is on Lumberjack Ledge.
Yeah, you got Butter Sword, Boots, Silver Arrows. She's going to be able to whip through this game now.
Yeah. PKR's routing has just been really on point. She is a contender to win it all for sure.
Absolutely. Definitely one of the favorites. So we got Hydropower here making his way over to pick up his bow.
Yeah, you could just... This is basically crystal clear as to just how good PKR's routing is. She's already 1 item away from victory. She knows where it is, and we're literally in 2 minutes of getting it. And then she just has to start clearing dungeons. Meanwhile, Hydra... just only now getting the bow, still needs to go get the fire rod as well.
Yeah, he has already got slippers, so he is also 1 item away.
Yeah, so this will be an Aga call for him as well. But Pierre's already halfway up the tower, has more health, but not as much armor. But Pierre also still has the fairy, which Hydrapower wasted.
True. He did grab a blue potion, though.
Yeah, so he's got potion safeties.
So interesting, you're seeing a slightly different order here. Hydropower opting to go to the pod eastern area first.
Yeah.
And to be fair, at this point with Flute, it doesn't really matter that much what order you do these dungeons in.
Yeah. One thing we will mention here, folks, is that the one thing that the spoiler logs that they get don't have is what seed of RNG is set for Aga and Ganon. So we actually don't know how many blue balls those Aga will give us here.
True. Ironically, the most annoying random thing in the vanilla game is not random at all in Randomizer.
Yeah, it's seeded, and it would just take a lot of work to figure the seeding out. A lot of extra coding for the spoiler log.
Right.
And these are all going to be defeat Ganon goals, which just means you play the game as intended, get the 7 crystals, those defeat Aga 2 atop Ganon's tower, and then go fight Ganon. The pendants are optional in this mode. Or at least in this goal setting. And in fact, you can make... There's actually a goal setting that is commonly used in cross keys, which is PKR's main forte, in which you don't even have to go back and fight Aga 2. You just need the crystals, and Ganon, wherever hole that they are in for crystals goal, is vulnerable.
Right, so you see PKR defeating Aga, Mirren here. I'm assuming she'll be getting her final item for go mode.
That's right. Fire Red's over here. Meanwhile, Hydrapower's on his way to fighting Helmasaur King.
Yeah, so now at this point, really the routing part is done, and it's all about execution. There's some key routing you have to do in some of these dungeons, especially in Pod, but now it's just go as fast as you can, all about execution.
And PKR, with all the items now, is in go mode for you guys, confirmed.
Yeah, now we'll just see what order she chooses to complete them in.
Gonna choose to, looks like Misery Mire and Desert. Oh, just Misery Mire first.
Yeah, looks like she's setting up for us to see a little bit of spooky action in a couple minutes, which is always fun to see.
Yeah, and spooky action, folks, it's aren't if you see PKR pick up the boulder from below.
Yeah, the height at which the duck exits the screen is what sets up the glitch. You also see Hydrapower here getting into his Helmasaur fight. Helmasaur can be a bit tricky, but with Tempered Sword and Blue Mail, shouldn't be any problem.
Not to mention a silver arrow you can fire in his face for instant kill.
True. You see him holding his sword out to get a little bit more distance on the hammer hits, which is a little bit safer than just hammering the mask.
Yep.
A very nice fight.
Yep. Helmasaur down. That's the second crystal for Hydrapower, tying it up, but PKR just needs to collect the rest of the crystals. And I actually don't remember where the big key here is in Misery Mire. Let me double check that.
It is in the compass chest, which is the fire-locked side, the north one.
Is it?
Oh,
no, it was
nope.
a map chest.
No. Oh, you're right.
Oh no, PKR is just doubling back to get this heart container. That makes sense. That's a little bit more health.
Yeah, it is in the compass chest.
And this actually works out because she can go right, up, left, up, and that should put her at the warp next. That'll put her next to the boss route.
Yep. Yep. So as she heads into the basement, this is where the spooky action begins. As you see Hydropower here making his way through Eastern Palace. He's got the lamps, he's got silver arrows. This should be absolutely no problem for him.
Yeah, PinkKittyRose did the second part of spooky action there, which is setting up the block, because that actually does reset the pixel value. But she used the boost ash smoke there, or the dust, to retain the value. So you see there was a brief pause there. First part of spooky action set.
Yep, as you go into this room, you just got to fire rod the anti-fairy.
Yep, and third one will be right here. You actually see that one hit. And spooky action complete.
Perfectly executed.
Now, Hydrapower is taking the lead in terms of crystal count, but PKR is already set up to just finish every other dungeon in the game.
Yeah, not to mention she's beaten Agadim as well.
Yeah, so PKR is most definitively ahead here. Her routing is just on point. Her execution has not faltered in any way. This is essentially her race to lose, really.
Yeah, but not taking anything away from Hydropower. He's playing well. Like, his execution's been pretty good. He only had one small mishap.
Yeah, one small mishap.
Had some good boss fights. Like, he can definitely play.
Yeah. Really, Hydra's routing was just a little bit different here because he wanted more safeties, which in turn makes the run a bit slower. But sometimes that's what you need to take in order to make sure you feel confident with the game. I don't blame one bit for it.
No, not at all. Deaths cost a lot of time, and if you can prevent a death, it will. It's definitely good for your final time.
Yeah. Because even dying with a fairy, that's still about maybe 7 or 10 seconds you're on the ground.
Yeah.
Not doing anything.
Yeah, I think it's like 8 seconds for a fairy revival. So now you see PKR making her way through Skull Woods. I'm gonna fight the Moth as Hydropower makes his way into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, which I'll just add this fun fact because we're not gonna be seeing much of the Swamp Palace here. If this was a normal seed, you wouldn't have to worry about the big chest. Keys locked itself.
Yep.
And yeah, no less side here, folks. Pretty much all the dungeons, if I can use a term from another randomizer, is barren of treasure. It's all in the overworld to the seed.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
The only one that actually had anything good was Ice Palace, which had an extra sword, and Tower Hair, which had the cape, which we needed for the boots, which we needed for the fire rod, and Bombos, which we needed for Misery Mire, and Ice Palace.
It was interesting. You saw PKR run into the spike on purpose to get rid of sword beams. Mothula can be very difficult to fight with sword beams as they do less damage and just push him further into that the corner with the spikes. So that was a nice piece of strategy right there. So with that, she's got her 4th crystal.
Actually, I think it's her 5th.
No, I think Swamp was mismarked.
Oh, yeah. It was.
So now she's just got to go do the Pod Eastern combo, get Swamp done, and then start making her way up Ganon's Tower.
I think Swamp will be first, I think. Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. So yeah, you're going to see them both in the dungeon, the same dungeon at the same time, as Hydropower here is approaching his Argus fight.
Yeah, they're gonna be high-fiving a little bit here. As one enters, and the other one will leave. Although now I'm imagining the facial expressions that those two would have if that were to happen. You're just casually finishing the seed, and the Hydra's like, "Wait a minute, I have to catch up." Oh no! Because that's something else we haven't mentioned about the Swirlogs. They're allowed to watch the restream, and they're allowed to watch each other's race.
That is
true.
Normal
Randomizer rules that state we can't stream snipe, those are out the window here. Because we already know everything.
Yeah, it's an interesting aspect of it as well, because if you have safeties rooted in and then you see your opponents ahead, maybe you make some different decisions. And you see Hydropower having another nice boss fight here. And so that actually ties up the crystal count, although PKR has the Fire Rod, which is the main difference right now.
And yes, folks, they can watch each other. They can even come in here and watch the restream. They can say hello if they wanted to.
Yeah, I saw a few people in chat while they were racing during some of the earlier races.
Yeah, this is... The spoiler log environment is the exception to the rule, pretty much.
True, but to be fair, in most other speedruns, like an NMG race, you're allowed to watch the restream.
Yeah. It's just the randomized race that has that stipulation because it makes it fair, because you don't know where... Because you're supposed to figure things out for yourself. That's actually the charm of the randomizer, really, is you don't know what you're going to be doing, how you're supposed to route it. You're supposed to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily spying so much as, I would say, just checking in, really. Because if you know that you're behind, you might start wanting to take bigger risks.
Yeah, exactly. It also can be distracting though, right? You get that information, but if you got one eye on the restream, it can make it hard to play.
Yeah. So if you're not that good at multitask, you may not want to do it anyway. And that's up to them as well.
Yeah, I know. I personally, my races, I do not watch the restream just because I find it too distracting.
Yeah, I would not be able to win this tournament. I don't play that randomizer that much anymore. I still practice it, but I do it purely for keeping my commentary studies fresh. And
you see PKR pulling out silver arrows here. Arguses can be sometimes tricky to hit with the silver arrows, but she has absolutely no problem.
Yeah. So yeah, there's no delay here, folks. There's no real point. Yeah, Argus down already. So yeah, just pod and eastern left.
Yeah, she's making very good time with this seed. I thought this one might be tough to get done under an hour, but I think she's going to be well under that.
Oh yeah, the routing has been extremely efficient from PKR. This is, as I've said in the chat, someone said routing is her forte, and considering cross keys is essentially her playground. Yeah, I would believe that completely. Yeah,
like in the some of the daily races, like I see her beat 124 NMG runners, people who have really top tier execution, and her execution is excellent. Don't get me wrong, but it is the routing that really seems to give her an edge.
Alright, and this is what those rupees they picked up so long ago for. Paying Kiki the monkey. So it is important to route in some money in the seed.
Yeah. Sometimes when you get to pod and you've forgotten to route that in, you don't feel so good. So as you can see, she's going to the Bollock side of pod. As Hydrapower here enters his Vitreous fight. It's got silver arrows. It should be absolutely no problem. Another very nice fight there.
Alright, so PKR is now heading over to fight Officer King. Just needs to figure out where that big key is. And I actually forget where it is myself. I have fresh memory. There it was.
Now I wonder where Hydrapower is going to go. Looks like he's making the Aga play now. Yep. As PKR makes her way into the basement here.
Alright. We'll see how things go here. Hydrapower is now making the climb up to Aga 1.
Oh, very nice Turtles room. Now she's just gotta take down the Helmosaur King. Just
right.
17 hammer hits to the face.
Let's see what they're gonna be doing here. Alright, Helmosaur is down. Just a quick silver arrow to the face.
Very nice.
And we're gonna see the Armos Knights here in just a little bit.
Yeah, as Hydrapower grabs the key here and makes his way up Aga Tower. Oh, there you go. This pot room here can be kind of tricky, especially when you don't have the boomerang.
Yeah, but you have silvers. You can just fire one if you need to.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to get the key though. As PKR makes her way through Eastern Palace. The Stealthless room here, probably going to use sword beams or arrows.
Yeah, this is going to be looking to be a sub 50 seed, it looks like. Just barely.
Yeah, being maybe a low 50-minute for an Aga seed as well is pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, it wasn't an annoying Aga seed, which essentially you do it when you want to do it.
True, but it's still 3 minutes that you got to sink into it. At least 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes.
Someone is actually asking where the other mail upgrade is. There's still no Dungeon Land. We know where it is.
Yeah, you are going to see it.
And I will say this: PKR might pick it up.
I would be shocked if she did not pick it up.
But yeah, folks, with that, that is the 7th boss down for PKR, Native Count Aga. And with that, folks, it's time for a game we like to play, but we're going to put a twist on it here. So, folks, there are 22 chests in Ganon's tower, but we already know where the big key is. give us a location in chat to where you think the big key is today. And I'm gonna, of course, request that we abstain for guessing, Matt, because we already know.
But this is my chance to get it right, though. See PKR using some nice hook speed there to get a little boost up Death Mountain. Interesting. You see Hydrapower opting to dash his way to pick up the Fire Rod.
I'm seeing a lot of guesses in chat here.
Yeah. Some good guesses, too.
Some really good guesses.
Yeah. And you see PKR using that bottom warp because we did not need to go to Total Rock this seed. Surprise, surprise. Always nice.
So, I'm going to ask request that you guys stop guessing when you get a Ganon's Tower, and I'll say if anyone is close. Well, at that point. Alright, PKR is opening the gate here as Hydrapower picks up his Fire Rod.
Yeah, Hydrapower's just got 2 quick dungeons left, and then he'll be making his way up to Ganon's Tower as well.
Alright. Guesses are closed, and I will say this. One of you guys got it right here in chat.
One of you nailed it.
Right on the head.
Yeah. Not only the right room, but the right chest.
And it wasn't Bob's torch.
PKR just going in here, grab 2 quick keys. Very nice. Ooh, opting to... That's a door you do not see open very often. Interesting piece of routing there.
Opening these chests for an extra heart containers, so PKR is up to 9.
Yep, she is making her way over to the right side. As Hydrapower makes its way towards the moth. So I think, Chad, you have now have a pretty good guess at where the big key is.
That's right. It's here in the compass room. As PKR pick up a thing we were talking about, heart container.
Yeah, she does.
There's
there
the blue mail. And there's the big key. Alinar, you got it dead on with a top left compass chest.
Well done. Seeing her grab that key there, so she has the required key that you need while ascending Ganon's Tower. Now she'll make her way through Mimics into the Gauntlet. It's just all about execution.
And PKR... Yeah, can we mention here that PKR's picking up heart pieces throughout this entire race? But her heart piece routing has been so good at the same time. That look at that, she has 10 hearts and blue mail going up Ganon's Tower. It's amazing.
Yeah, I sometimes see people timing a heart refill for like pre-Moldorm chest, and I'm always so impressed when I can never have enough time to think of doing that.
Yeah, she even said us that the 2 heart pieces in Ganon's Tower, we're gonna give her another heart container in the Hope Room. If that doesn't show you how good PKR's routing is, I don't know what does.
And now she's going up into the Gauntlet. And if you want to see how good someone is at execution, you should watch them go through these 4 rooms.
Nice RNG cooperation there from the Southos.
Very nice use of the pause. You see her keeping the bow out, which she'll use for Land Mode 2. Yeah, that skeleton can be a little tricky to hit with the bow.
Yeah, looks like unfortunately it's not going to be a sub 50 here. The seat was a little too wild. But hey, sub 55 is going to be an excellent seed.
There you go. 1, 2, 3. Perfect Lambo 2 there.
The one thing that slowed down the seed here, so prevented bringing sub 50 is really just everything was in the overworld.
Yeah, you definitely had to do a lot of running around. 2 required fetch quests. This would be a very difficult to seed to get into sub 50.
Yeah. And really, the only items that were in overworld spots, or not in overworld spots, was Bombos and the cave, and both of those were in Hera. The Force Orb is in Ice, but that's obviously not... Well, it's something you can't miss because it's on Cold Stare, but it's not something you absolutely need.
True. The Hydrapower here, working on his Ice Palace bomb jump, gets it, very nice.
PKR is now through.
Just got to grab the key from Mini Helmosaur here. Gets through the bomb wall, doesn't need powder.
Alright.
Now making your way into the good old Moldorm 2 fight. Spider Sword, just 2 slashes.
Yep. We'll see PKR opens the final chest here. And she does.
Vanilla.
Indeed, 20 rubies is indeed the vanilla reward from Moldorm's chest. It's not the single arrow. Don't be confused, folks. Single arrow is actually in pod.
Yep.
I actually should know. I actually did a 1 credit clears run in which I opened up every chest deliberately just to note everything and commit all those item locations to memory.
Nice. See the Agate 2 fight, gets a single on that first cycle. That was a bit of a tough pattern.
Yeah, once again, seeded patterns here.
I'm not sure if that was a double.
Had potentially a triple there, but unfortunately Agate teleported away before the last shot could hit. Ooh! And PKR, you can see just stutter stepping there a lot.
Yeah, a little frustrated.
Not the cleanest Agate 2, but well done.
Showing your frustration.
Well, with Agate 2 down, it is now time to fight the pig, and ooh, this is gonna be super clean fight. Gold Sword, only 6 slashes for the first 2 phases. Ganon's seeded teleports will go through. And by the way, Hydrapower, not to be a slouch, he's got his last crystal now and is eligible to enter Ganon's tower. So not too far behind, but
he's playing really well. Like most people playing next to PKR are going to be a bit behind, but like his execution has been on point. He's had some good boss fights. Like I've been really impressed with this play.
Yeah, the only difference between Hydrapower and PKR is Hydrapower routed a lot more safeties in that were actually somewhat of a long X. Like going for the book to get the shovel off Bombos to get the blue mail that he has.
Yeah, and the Diggy Game heart piece, that was another one.
Yeah, the Diggy Game boss heart was 26 digs, which took up a lot of time as well. So things like that are what's set things apart here. And yeah, just a few more slashes here. These teleports are seeded, like I said.
There you
go. Then afterwards, it becomes the darkness technique. Keep the torches lit, and then hit again with 4 silver arrows after you turn them blue. There should be a double and maybe...
Nice torch glitch there. Should get
nice
another
torch
double.
glitch and another double. That's it. That's GG for PKR.
Yep, get your GGs out in chat. That was extremely well done.
And ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs in chat for PinkKittyRose, who has officially crossed the finish line in first place from the official SRL time of 54 minutes, 24 seconds.
Yeah, that is a very good time for this seed.
And yeah, just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, as we see Hydropower making his way to GT to clean this seed up.
And all of PKR's emotes are flying in chat here, I'm seeing.
I guess we'll see if we can get her in here. You see Hydropower opting for the same key routing for Genna's tower. He's opting to use the mirror as opposed to opening the door you never see opened. He had a well-timed heart refill there as well.
And we are now joined by PKR. GG's, and what a seed! Your routing was just excellent, especially the heart pieces. Well done.
Yeah, the early hard pieces helped on that one, since their hard containers themselves are often awkward places for the most part. Stuff like Zora and Trine X and other such lovely places that you totally want to go to in this type of seed.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's not usual you see so many overworld locations required. Did you have a tough time routing it in the 15 minutes?
Only a little bit, just because there were so many extra items we had to search for as well, since 2 fetch quests are required on top of everything else.
Yeah, I just whenever I go through them and I see, oh, potion shop. Oh no, now I gotta find mushroom. Now I gotta find powder. And sometimes that can get a little bit confusing.
In this case, late boots for one of these seeds. Ugh.
Yeah.
Better than no boots, but still, there was really no way to route that in any sooner.
True.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about how this seed went? Your execution, your routing? Are you happy with how you played?
I'm a little bit sad that there wasn't much of a way to get better bombs at the start. There was the option of a tier 2 tree pole, but I was really hoping I could put off Kakariko until I was trying to go to the Dark World, but it wasn't happening. In terms of my overall play, it was really sloppy in the beginning because I'm still half asleep. So, I'm actually done warming up the hands for the day. Also, that Agatu was terrible. Cold Stare was sloppy. Let's see. Helmsor was sad.
So, something when I was reading the spoiler log, and something I'm surprised you didn't do, I'm surprised you didn't go for tier 1 tree pull into just buying bombs at the Lakeside Shop.
Yeah, but then I'm walking up to, the tree pole at Hyrule Castle for no reason. Because it takes time to walk up there and pull that tree, so it's just I could just come back later. Go get the Kakariko stuff first, so that way I get my bombs and rupees while I'm at least grabbing something else. Gotta kind of mesh them all together. I was really happy with how I fit in Magic Powder, though, by actually being able to mirror to avoid having to screen transition through the race game house.
Yeah, that was a good piece of routing there as well.
Yeah, since I figure I may as well just do bottom of CAC on the way of activating the flute, because that way I can grab Powder with the mirror and just walk up and go do Magic Band and grab my half magic off a sick kid as well, because why not? It's right there.
Yeah, and even if your Cold Stare went completely south, that would have been a nice safety have as well.
Yeah, Cold Stare wasn't going to go too bad. Having the fairy from Old Man that we were forced to get, and half magic cape just sitting there waiting for me to go spam them in a corner or something.
Yeah, your opponent took a couple of extra safeties there with the boss art on Digging Game, as well as the getting the book for the shovel, which gave him the armor at the dig spot.
Well, 26 digs, I just looked that up. Yeah. I saw it there and I'm just like, there's no way that's worth it. I didn't realize there was so many digs.
That is one of the best quality of life things that got added to these spoiler log seeds is dig number.
26. It lands on that number a lot, I noticed. Now that it's actually in there. Oh, so many digs. And hey, it's nice to have a basically forced Gold Sword on this one too, since I'm not going to want to go after a Cold Stare or Argus without the Tempered Sword if I can help it.
Yeah, it was nice that they didn't give you a male upgrade, but you had 2 really good force safeties with the powder in the bottle, which made it a little easier. Could go a little harder on your execution.
Yeah, and I mean, the swords themselves too were basically forced, because Hookshot Cave and Hype Cave both had progression in them outside of the swords, so you're definitely getting those. The only one you had to go out of your way for at any point was the Mini Moldorm sword, and well, Mini Moldorm Cave, it's not exactly a time investment. It's there. It does exist, but compared to other options, it's not bad.
True.
Yeah,
After those qualifiers, how did it feel to actually get the lamp in a seed?
I mean, I barely had to use it. But at the same time, it's always nice to have the lamp, just because it doesn't matter how good your dark rooms are, or if you can do dark spooky, you will still just save time by being able to see exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I still haven't figured out dark spooky. I can't believe that people can actually do that.
Feels good every time.
Yeah, your spooky action was excellent. And the right special as well.
But I missed the first shot. It was too late. I didn't hit the right spot, and I had to go and shoot it again. Because I'm taking away from that precious 10 seconds I saved from being spooky in the first place. There's just a lot of general little sloppiness in this. I could have gotten sub 54, but oh well. It's good enough. Good enough.
Yeah, 54 is definitely a very good time for this seed, regardless.
My fire rod had to be on the lumberjack ledge. Why? Why? I can't escape back into even in spoiler seats.
They can't make sub 52 free.
Well, if it's any consolation, at least Agate wasn't required for full Darkhold access. That was at least a nice thing. And
Yeah,
Hammer was in a good spot.
My god, you can even tell in the spoiler log seeds too how much of a difference going to the Dark World with the hammer makes instead of having to do either Mitz or Agatum. Because suddenly you get the hammer and you have about 5 other types of routing options for how you want to do your initial Dark World sphere, and it's just like, yes, this is why I hate this in regular seeds. I like having the hammer, not these other options. At least the cape was en route. I didn't have that looked up at first. It's like, oh, I need the cape for the boots. Oh, it's in a dungeon I already have to do to get bombos. Nice. Arrow was the only dungeon with items in it.
Yeah. What did you think of that, by the way?
It's really hard to sub 50 if the seed wants to put everything in the overworld. It's nice to be able to get your progression while you're doing stuff that actually progresses you towards the end of the game.
Yeah. It was also, even the route that you took, it is also sometimes kind of nice just to be able to get all of your items and then just go mode all the dungeons. You can kind of stop thinking other than key route and just go for it, right?
Oh, the key placements in this seed were so nice. It's just like, yes, these are all wonderful. GT can be like slightly better, but not by much.
I saw you open up the one locked door I've never actually seen opened up, so that was pretty interesting.
Slightly faster than mirror transitioning and going back down the stairs. Slightly.
Of course, you of all people would know that.
I did mean I had to go through the portal to grab that other key, but it's still faster, kind of, barely. Maybe like 2 or 3 seconds at best. The forbidden door.
Meanwhile, about to finish off Ganon here. This is spooky action, but no big deal. Gets the double, and that is GG for him.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Ganon and his teleports. He needed to stop. He was getting out of control.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, get your GG in the chat for hydrapower78, who has finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, 59 seconds. So, when is your next race between you two?
Tomorrow, same time. Most likely different channel.
I'll be going to watch. I can't wait to see how you progress through. I mean, if you race like you did today, maybe with a few less mistakes, at least in your mind, I could see you going all the way. Easily.
We'll see. At least I didn't make any like significant routing related derps other than forgetting to pick up my flippers before going to Ice Palace. That was a little silly. It's like, wait, what am I doing down my midi Moldorm cave without a set of flippers? I'll make it work. That's about the only one. And the rest was fine. I wanted to get the gold sword for the heck of it before getting my Academ Tower done, I guess. It's like, oh.
Yeah,
let's
you
just
really
get all
could.
our offense right away.
Yeah, you really do a lot of things just in any order, right? It's just in terms of what you feel comfortable with. So, like, overall in this tournament, how do you feel about the tournament itself and your position and everything?
It'll be interesting. I do like this format quite a bit because it actually rewards using your head and having quick thinking. And, stuff that isn't just memorized muscle memory through everything. Makes it so somebody like me who hasn't practiced ideal strats but has their, like, layers of stuff that they came up with on the fly. Puts me in a little better position, not so much in the qualifiers, because people could practice those like a regular speedrun, but these races, gotta not make any mistakes. Doing all right in that perspective. There's a few people that I know will give me a run for my money for sure, so I don't consider it a guarantee by any means, since I am prone to derping. So it'll really depend on if I can keep my DPS down.
Yeah, this is a really unique tournament, and it's really interesting.
And we are now joined by hydrapower78. GG's to you as well. Excellent racing as well.
Thank you, friends. Appreciate it. GG, PKR, and I hope it was entertaining. I see that I am, 9 minutes behind her, but, I hope it was entertaining anyway.
Yeah, I always like these spoiler log races since, you can actually have the boots as long as they're not in GT.
that was my hope, was like it would be like or even worse, like boots on pendant Trinex or something, and then I would be like, oh, then she'll be so tilted that she won't play very well, and then I have a chance. So that was my hope.
Yeah.
But no, they were
wrong.
just
Yeah, the key difference between your two routes, Hydra, you actually went for the blue mail on the dig spot and also did the digging game. PKR ignored that and opted to instead route hard pieces and get the blue mail from Ganon's tower, because it was right next to the big key.
Right, and I did end up getting the red mail, the coward mail, of course. But yeah, I saw that and I thought, I know it's a time sink, but I think it would help me. I think I would have had trouble with just green mail through up until GT. So, and I know I think I almost died at Cold Stare, so I think that would have been a death if I hadn't got the blue mail. So I find that happens a lot in spoiler races for me. Like, I'm like, oh man, I'm taking all this time to get hearts and mail and bottles and whatever. And then inevitably at some point, maybe even at the fight against Ganon at the very end, it will have worked out because I'll be down to one heart or I'll need to pop a blue and I'll be like, see, I knew what I was doing all along.
Yeah, Cold Stare is always a problem in spoiler log races because it's just like, this is the most dangerous boss in the game, bar none, when you have not much in the way of defense, because something usually goes wrong unless you're good at your NMG Cold Stare, which is the pokes into double spin in the corner, since that's just instantaneous. Or,
Yeah, I gotta learn that 100% combo sometime. That seems pretty slick. But no, it did go wrong. I couldn't get the spin into the corner. And of course, the goofy thing about Cold Stare is if one of the puffs is exploding, you can't menu. So then you're like, not trying to panic as you're, can't get to your potion and trying not to die and losing 4 minutes and embarrassing yourself in front of 800 of your closest friends here. So as soon as I got down to 2.5, I used that potion. And I guess I didn't need the other one that I had. But you just don't know these things, and you're like, I don't want to die, and that's the thing in spoiler races too, is that they're so tight and they're on such a knife edge, and a death or something can really swing everything, and I think that's what's going to make it really exciting to watch for sure. But it is indeed very stressful.
Yeah, and you really got to cut it close to the edge sometimes. Sometimes the way the seed roast, you're like, oh, I got 6 hearts going up Ganon's tower. This is what I have to do, right? And
absolutely,
it's just a matter of balancing those safeties. But your execution was good. You had some good boss fights. Like that 104 is not a bad time by any means at all.
No, and I felt like I came up with a good plan. I think I went well today. I had an extremely derpy practice run last night. Like, I was a derp factory creating Derp Industries, President Derpy Derpinson. And I was like, have I ever played this game before? I swear I have. I just don't seem to be doing it right this time. But so I meant to get all that out of my system last night, and today, I felt like I played well. I felt like I had a good plan. I think the only thing I kind of goofed up on, which ended up not being a real goof, was I couldn't get into the village from the south side because I didn't have the mitts yet because those were on bat. So then I was just like, well, okay, I'll just mirror and go get the mitts and get the boots and then come back for hookshot, because my plan was to just do all that at once, but then I was like, oh wait, that won't work. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I had a good plan and good execution, but PKR does PKR things, and that's why most people think she might win this whole thing. So
So one thing I wanted to ask you about hydropower is, so now going forward, you have this one race under your belt. So for tomorrow's race, for instance, are you going to adjust your strategy at all? Are you going to try to drop some of these safeties to try and cut the gap a little bit?
No, I don't think so. And it was kind of like what I was saying before. Like, it ends up being necessary in the end, one way or the other. And I feel like I just have to play within myself, and whether that's like, okay, I need 8 or 9 hearts, I need blue mail, I need a bottle. And I feel like if I'm too aggressive, it's just going to end up not working out. And if for someone who doesn't need all that and can do with more with less, then I just have to tip my hat to them. And that's someone like PKR, who plays a lot of entrance shuffle, which places you in really perilous situations at all times. So she's used to that sort of thing. And for me, like, it's just not something I'm there yet. But I can see the improvement from even like a few months ago. Just all this incremental improvements over time, and maybe one day I'll be at that point too.
Yeah, I went through some of your SRL race history, and you definitely have improved a lot. You're getting some really good finishes.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I call myself Captain Average because I finish in the middle of the pack all the time. But the funny thing about the middle of the pack is there tends to be like 5 minutes between 4th place and 37th place, so you just like, well, here we are in this crowd, and so you just kind of laugh about that. But yeah, I used to just bomb races all the time. Like, every Saturday was just a complete bomb, and now it's not like that anymore. Now I very rarely have a 2-hour plus seed, and there's definitely a lot of people that are still better, but I can see the improvement, and it's something to just kind of remember when you see people doing really quote unquote dumb plays and getting first place, because of course we're going to go to Pendant Swamp first. I mean, doesn't everybody do that, right?
That's how bigger races go.
Yeah. You just gotta sequence break Pendant Ice Pals, right? That's
of course. And, why didn't I do that? But yeah, I mean, people take those kind of crazy risks in large races because they want to try to get first, and if they don't, then they're just going to end up in the middle of the pack. But I try to just be thorough and just sort of incrementally improve, and one of these days maybe I'll get that first place too.
Yeah, honestly, the best thing to do is just to keep competing against yourself, more or less. Because if you feel like you can do better and you keep pushing yourself, you'll get there. Because, I mean, it doesn't really matter what level you obtain. There will pretty much always be somebody else to strive for. But what matters most is your own improvement.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm certainly not going to stop playing this game anytime soon, because it's just too addictive, as infuriating as it is sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But,
it doesn't help that the 2019 release schedule is really, really boring.
well, and I'm cheap anyway. I wait till games are like $20 or less. It's like the old quote from Guybrush Threepwood: "Never pay more than $20 for a computer game." So I don't do that. But yeah, I enjoy playing this, and definitely keep at it. And it's a great community to be part of. Lots of great people, and it's just super fun. And of course, I enjoyed playing this when I was younger, and just to come back to it with infinite replay value is even better.
Yeah.
You're stuck on that forever grind with the rest of us.
Right on.
Welcome to the trap.
Well, GG's once again, both of you. We will be seeing you once again tomorrow at 2:30. Speaking of which, in terms of the schedule, we also have Shady versus a 1-up, as well as Frame and Wolfie coming on tonight at 8 o'clock, Speaking 4 and Speaking 3 respectively. And then join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. For Salty Fire versus Mentos Man 8. They're going to do a doubleheader for us. And yeah, of course, make sure to follow our 2 runners here, HydraPower and PinkKittyRose, putting an excellent race for us today. Make sure to also give my co-com Matt7898 a follow, as well as our tracker Samus. And also, of course, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming's 226 a follow as well, so you don't miss any race action. Not just Link to Best Randomizer. There's just a whole plethora of shows on this. I can't even begin to list them all.
Thanks to you, Wolflink. It's been great commenting with you.
Yeah. Also, folks, if you're more comfortable listening to maybe French or Spanish commentary because that's your main language, we do offer commentary restreams in those languages: Speed Gaming Francia, Speed Gaming SPN, Speed Gaming Dutch, and I don't know how to pronounce Portuguese, so Speed Gaming has a Portuguese language as well. But with that being said, folks, that's going to do it for us here. So from all of us at A Link to Best Randomizer, I have been Wolflink0370, and we shall see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Have a good day, everyone.
I think I'm gonna go take a nap.